Welcome to The Other Discovery Show, the podcast that's not about podcasts. It's about all the other things we discovered this week. I'm Josh.
I'm Kirk.
And I am Zach.
Guys, coming to you live, the first taste of the brand new hibiscus LaCroix. Never tasted this stuff before. It's supposed to be good. Let me give you guys a little live review here real quick.
So it's supposed to taste like a flower?
So on the nose, it smells fruity, like raspberry or blueberry. Got a nice crisp smell to it. Let me give it a quick taste here.
I am really thankful you're not in the mic for this because I did not want to hear the mouth noises.
It tastes like blueberry raspberry. It does not taste like hibiscus.
Do they have anything else? Like, did they say it's just hibiscus?
It's just called high-biscus.
Like HIGH?
Yeah. No, HI-biscus.
Oh, I was like, is there something else in it?
But no, it does make me want some biscuits.
High biscuits. High biscuits. All right. Well,
so it's good. I definitely recommend it. It's more of like a tropical berry flavor than the floral flavor you would expect from hibiscus. Because I'm pretty sure I've had cocktails with hibiscus in it, and this is not that. But what is you guys' favorite sparkling water, seltzer water, LaCroix, etc. flavor?
Honestly, I feel like it's lame, but to me, like sparkling water with like a little citrus, it's where I'm at. You know, like lime.
Oh yeah.
Is it like LaCroix or LaCroix? Like what? How do you pronounce that drink?
LaCroix.
It's not that. It's definitely not that one.
LaCroix.
And I mean, honestly, like I guess it's kind of hipster at this point, but Topo Chico is the one for me. Like
Yeah,
I've tried a lot of them, but that one for some reason tastes good.
The only one I like.
Yeah, Zach, you got to try the key lime LaCroix. They sell it at Target, and it is.
Oh, I could go for that.
Yeah,
And I mean, I tried a White Claw at our buddies the other night, which is like I think it's just like they call it like hard like sparkling water or something. You know, it's just basically it's LaCroix with alcohol in it.
But here's my problem. It's the worst version of taking a LaCroix and just throwing a shot of vodka in it, because what they do is they take a freaking malt beverage. So what they do is take like malt. It's the same thing as like Old English or Mike's Hard Lemonade or any of those nasty drinks. It's like terrible alcohol, and they made a hard seltzer out of it. So
I mean, honestly, I would rather just like make a mojito with some LaCroix and some tequila or rum. You know what I mean? Like I'll just make like a citrus drink that's focused instead of on club soda or whatever. I'll throw some LaCroix in there, then done.
Yeah. So when I went to Mexico, I got into the agua mineral, which was just mineral water. It's the same thing as LaCroix, but I'll be honest, for some reason in Mexico, it tastes a lot better. And I think that's why I like Topo Chico. Yeah, Topo Chico, that's my go-to. But the thing that they do is they'll put like real lime juice and then a little bit of like simple syrup, like homemade simple syrup. And it's just like the best like hint of limeade ever. And it's the best. Like they'll give you like literally a shot glass full of lime juice and a LaCroix, or not a LaCroix. They'll give you whatever they got. I forgot what the name of it was there at the time. And so when I got home, I started doing that with my Topo Chicos, and it blew my mind. That's what my new thing is.
Yeah,
I think they call it agua de bubbles, right?
I don't think so.
Is that mean to say? I feel like that's goofy.
So I saw something this week, and I wasn't going to talk about it on the podcast, but I just can't stop thinking about it. I was driving through the neighborhood. I saw this guy walking his dog, and his dog starts pooping. And if you guys have ever seen a dog poop, it's hilarious. It's one of the greatest things you can see is when you're driving down the road and you just see a dog pooping on the side of the road. It cracks me up every time. Anyways, so I see that. So I look over and I see the guy. He looks at his dog and he's like shaking his head. Then he holds up his hand that's not holding the leash, and he already has the doggy bag with his dog's poop in it. He's looking at it like, and I'm driving by, so this is like a split second reaction. I see him look at his hand holding the bag, and like shake his head, and he's looking at his dog like, what am I going to do? So from that, like, it was like a 2-second, like, I saw this driving by. One, his dog's already pooped once, and he's like, why are you pooping again? Two, he probably doesn't have another doggy bag, and he's like, what am I going to do with this extra poop? It's just, it's one of those things. You see like this snapshot of someone's life at a single moment in time, and it gives you this whole backstory. And it's one of those little things that happened in my life, and I was like, I had to talk about it.
No, there's some fun things in life, and that is not necessarily one of them, but it is interesting because the other thing that freaked me out about it is like, and anybody has a dog knows this, a lot of times they'll like look at you. They like give you this like side glance of like they're just watching you because they're kind of in their vulnerable position. So as an animal, they're expecting their pack to protect them. You know, they're expecting like, okay, I'm doing something serious right now. I need you to watch my back. And so they kind of just give you this like, it looks like a guilty look while they're doing it.
It's like weird. A look of shame. It's like the look of shame.
But yeah, it's just, I don't know. There's something like goofy and funny about it.
So something else I discovered this week is the really stupid game Seek Out, which is this game that had to have been invented by a dentist because they give you this stupid mouthpiece and you have to say words and you sound like an idiot. And it's the worst thing in the world.
It sounds like you got kicked in the head by a horse. Are you like currently demonstrating the game right now?
Yes. Okay, so my kids begged me to play a game tonight, and I'm like, I don't really have a lot of time to play a board game. They're like, well, what? And so they eventually came to the conclusion they wanted to play Speak Out, which is this game that had to have been invented by a dentist. It is the worst game because it literally scars your mouth. It's the worst. They have this device you stick in your mouth so that you can't like put your lips together. So all B's, M's, N's, like V's, everything that you would normally use your lips to make the noise of, you can't do. It's not possible. So you sound like a ridiculous person. And it is very funny. But it's also the worst game I've ever played.
I feel like I am vaguely aware of this game because I went over there for lunch one day and Mason comes up to me. He's like, hey, I'm going to play this game. And he just goes and grabs the thing and sticks it in his mouth and starts reading these like cue cards. And I'm like, man, I have no clue what you're saying. You're just like saying random gibberish words to me and you expect me to understand what it is.
Yeah, no, it's a horrible game. And I wasn't going to bring it up, but
does everyone share the same mouthpiece?
They don't.
Yeah, you take like turns
15,
with it.
There's like 15 mouthpieces in there.
You have to use it when it's still moist from the other person's mouth.
I will say we played it once before, and the way that my daughter figured out if we'd used the mouthpiece before was by smelling it. And so that wasn't great. That wasn't great at all. She's like, no, we haven't used this one. Here, use this one.
Oh, God. You need to just disinfect that entire box. Be like, just spray it down with Lysol.
Yeah, so that's a game that
I feel like I need to get that just
buy.
because, yeah, I feel like I need to get it because I just want 15 of those mouthpieces to just throw at people during parties. Be like, all right, here's the next, like, all right, now you have to wear this for 5 minutes. Like,
that's a weird choice.
Like I mean, like, think about if you're, even for like the podcast, if it's like, if one of us won the, one of the games Kirk throws in there every once in a while, then the loser has to wear the mouthpiece for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, I'm sure people love listening to that for an entire episode.
But yeah, I don't know.
And what's this game called?
It's called Speak Out. Let me say one of these phrases for you with this stupid mouthpiece in. 1 second. Let me find a good phrase to say.
Let him stick it in his mouth real quick.
All right, you guys ready?
Oh, yeah.
See if you can figure out what I'm trying to say.
Okay. He immediately sounds dumber. Like it's like immediate. All right, go ahead.
Pork belly buns for a party of 50.
Pork belly buns for a party of 50.
You got it. That's so good, Josh. You are the best ever.
Well, we'll throw a link to this game in the show notes. And it's called Speak Out, so anybody can play this game and sound like that in front of friends or family.
Yeah, it's very embarrassing. No matter what you do, it's one of those things that, like, you get frustrated with your own self because you're like, no, not A, V or B, or like you can't. You're you can't physically do what you've been doing your whole life, which is talk.
It's
like
really
a normal
interesting
person.
that it really does, like, different sounds for our speech come from different places in the mouth, and some of it is from your lips, and if it's literally holding your face open, then you're not going to be able to make those sounds. So that sounds pretty funny.
I want to use this to call different places and talk to like strangers as like prank calls from the 90s. Like,
no, let's just
call
do it
and
the other
order a
way.
pizza.
That's how we answer calls from like telemarketers.
Just keep one of these mouthpieces in your pocket at all times.
I always do anyways.
But I mean, I think we should like order pizzas and call congressmen and stuff.
Call a congressman.
So actually, on a completely different note, since we did our last episode about big questions with Cal Fuzzman, I've listened to
Big questions.
Yeah. Love the guy, love the show. And so I've listened to like 15 of the episodes now. And I listened to one and he interviewed a guy that started this company in New Zealand. And I never heard of it. And I never even thought of the idea, but it blew my mind.
New Zealand?
No, I heard of New Zealand.
He thought that was made up.
I thought it was just from Lord of the Rings. I thought it was this mystical world from Lord of the Rings. No, so this guy founded this company called Globlet. Globlet? I think it's Globlet. So it's basically a mixture of global and goblet is what is the whole concept of it. And it's essentially a reusable cup. And I know that sounds so simple. Okay, yeah, plastic cup that you can reuse. But he has integrated this so much in New Zealand that like 90% of all like sporting events, festivals, and like even like wine festivals and stuff like that all use his cups, which are completely reusable. They're not like you use a cup and throw it away. Because think about how many cups you go through at like a football game. And that's what what he was inspired by. He went to a rugby game and each person was drinking like 2 to 3 beers and every single cup was just either left or thrown away. And it was like a ridiculous amount of like plastic waste. And so he came up with this idea and the whole concept is just like so simple, but yet so revolutionary. I think you pay like $2 more. They have this like whole even like pricing structure where you pay $2 more at a stadium. So let's say your beer is $10 because that's how much they stinking charge you at a football game.
It's more than that. It feels really bad to buy a beer at a professional sports game.
So instead of paying $10, you'd pay $12, but it is basically a souvenir cup. So if you wanted to, you could take it home with you, and it's like a souvenir cup. So. And it's reusable, so you can wash it. So you pay $12, you get a souvenir cup, but also if you want to get another beer, if you return your cup, you get a brand new cup and you only pay $10, which was the original price. And at the end of the game, if you return that empty cup again, you get your $2 back. Or if you take it home, you get a $2 souvenir cup. It's like genius.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'd do that.
Once like the game's over or festival or whatever, they take it to these basically these washing places where they specifically have devices that they've made to wash these specific cups, and then they reuse them. And so it's not reduce, reuse, recycle, it's just reuse. And I think that that's probably the best version of conservation that there is, because I think there's a lot missed in recycling. Like there's a lot of extra. I think that there's been studies done on like whether recycling actually works very well, and in a lot of ways it doesn't. And this is like a whole nother level of, it's reusing something. It's not just recycling.
The challenge with recycling is it takes additional energy to recycle something. So even though it's better than just throwing it in a landfill somewhere, it still costs additional resources to recycle something and turn it into something usable again. So it's still not a net positive. It's still a net negative. It's just less long-term net negative than throwing it in a landfill somewhere and us filling the world with trash.
Yeah, I think it's a transition too. It's one of those things where there are countries that are much better than we are at recycling, and they don't have the type of consequences of it that we do. So, but in general, when we've seen a lot of this in Florida, where people are trying to, like, literally, if you come to Florida, a lot of the beach areas will not use straws anymore because of literally one campaign from one group plus Adrian Grenier from Entourage started showing people what happens because of straws, and like turtles are getting killed with them. And in general, I would say that most people could agree, especially if you look up like the plastic island. If you look up the plastic island that's in the ocean right now, it's not good. So any kind of move towards something that makes more sense than single-use plastics and just creating a ridiculous, exorbitant amount of trash, I'm all good with it. And honestly, if I went to a sports game and I could end up keeping my cup and like using it at home, I would do that.
Yeah, so they basically have completely changed all of New Zealand's like infrastructure for the way that they do reusable or like plastics in any, like I said, games, festivals. They've done it for coffee cups. One of the things that I never even really thought of is like super wasteful is like wine tastings type things. Like if they have a wine festival, you're tasting all these different wines. And by law, you can't have glass, which would be reusable because you're outside or whatever. And so you have to have plastic, but you're doing a tasting. So you have to keep switching it out. And so there's like a ridiculous amount of little bitty wine glasses. And so they made specific like glasses for wine festivals. They made specific glasses or cups for coffee shops and stuff like that. It's an amazing, and they just came to the United States recently. They just started, and they started in I think it was San Francisco. So one of the baseball teams in San Francisco is the first team to adopt it here in the U.S. So they're trying to bring it to the U.S. as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like I said, they have like 95% coverage on all sporting events and everything in New Zealand.
That kind of saturation is unbelievable, honestly. You know, to have 95% anything.
Yeah, he started from just literally calling all of these places, and he got one to give him a chance. And they're like, okay, we'll only do it if you put our like all of our logo and stuff on it. He's like, I don't care, sure, give me the money to be able to make my first prototype, and we'll do it. And that's how he started. He didn't have like a bunch of money behind him or anything like that. He just had this concept, and he did it, and it was amazing. It's a great story.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. So this week I discovered the origins of butter sculptures. There was a woman named Carolyn Schock Brooks. She was born in 1840 and died in 1913. She was an American sculptor, well known for her work sculpting in the medium of butter. And she also worked with more traditional materials such as marble. That's such a funny way to phrase that. That's literally the Wikipedia. But basically, in 1867, she created the first butter sculpture when, after the failure of the farm's cotton crop, she sought to source supplemental income. And apparently, farm women of the time often created decoratively shaped butter using butter molds rather than molding. And she sculpted butter into shapes such as shells, animals, and faces. And okay, before you get the wrong idea, what she's creating here is like a portrait. She is like, this is not like, oh, I made a cat out of butter. This is like, I recreated Julius Caesar out of butter. And it's one of those things where I'd always heard about like, oh, butter sculptures, like in The Office, you know, they joke about it and stuff, but she really did do that. And she also was kind of the founder of it. And she just throughout her career, seriously, I'm gonna link some of these pictures in the show notes, because this is not like, oh, I made a Play-Doh sculpture. This is like, she is a legitimate artist, absolutely incredible at sculpture, and just she used butter so that she could make extra money for her family. And it's just kind of one of those things where you're like, okay, so where did this come from? And it came from necessity, but at the same time, she is just incredibly talented.
So where is the place for a butter sculpture in modern society?
At a county fair. Like, that's the thing. I honestly don't know that even I mean, sculpture in general, like if you made like a really nice like sculpture, you could get it like they do like statues and stuff outside of government buildings and whatever else, even corporations or whatever else. But in general, I don't know. I haven't, at least I haven't, maybe I'm just not plugged into the right places, but I haven't like heard of a bunch of people talking about like, oh, here's this new sculpture exhibit that we can go see it. But if you look at even some of the classics of like David and some of these very prominent historical and famous sculptures, they are incredible. I do appreciate the artistry involved in them, especially to me, one of the things that's so interesting about it is they start with a block. They start with a square of marble, and then they take away everything that's not what their vision is. It's there's something kind of beautiful to them whittling away at a piece of just rock until it's way beyond that, to the point of it being beautiful and being meaningful and artistic.
Yeah, I've seen there's a YouTube channel that I follow called Draw with Jazza. It's this Australian guy that does all these different art projects, and he's done a couple. He's done clay sculpting as well as I think it's soapstone sculpting, and he's done some pretty cool stuff with sculpting. But it's cool to see the process of going through and taking the block and then turning it into something. It really is an interesting process, especially seeing it from start to finish is really cool.
Yeah, it's incredible to watch. It's something where I can't even fully comprehend what all they're doing, especially because I feel like it's a very specific artistic kind of skill set that I don't think everybody has it. I think that they are differentiated and that they are very special in their ability to see what can be out of something that it's not that right now. And so I am inspired by it, but it was just, and like I said, I want everybody who's listening to check out these show notes because she is incredibly talented, and it's just so funny that it makes perfect sense because this is late 1800s, early 1900s. It wasn't like she had access to marble all the time, but she probably had access to butter because they had cows. And so just from kind of that nuts and bolts of where life was at that time, she was able to still create incredible art. And it really is very impressive looking. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the amazing things about art is you get people taking what they have around them and creating art from it. So like butter is not like, oh, I'm going to go make this amazing sculpture from butter, but you have it around you. You use your artistic expression on it. You create something amazing. So it really is cool to see how art is able to take things that you wouldn't expect and create something amazing out of it. So
yeah, and all of it seems very tasteful and dare I say,
and tasty. You get a loaf of,
very creative.
you get a loaf of bread there too, and you're living in heaven. You're going to ruin their sculpture, but it's going to taste great.
I need the toast that looks like Jesus.
I'll toast to that.
Don't they make a toaster that will literally like toast Jesus onto any piece of toast you put in there?
I don't know. I've seen Darth Vader. I don't know if I've seen Jesus.
If they can do Darth Vader, they can do Jesus.
My barber has one. It's a griddle, and it's called the Mac and Cheesus, and it griddles your mac and cheese with the Jesus on it.
See, I knew it.
So,
oh my.
Let's pivot here real quick. Are you guys familiar with Battle Royale games?
I think
Battle
so.
Royale?
Based on how you said that is weird, but yeah, I think so.
Battle Royale games.
It's not better. You said it the same way, but twice. But
Battle Royale.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Battle Royale. I played PUBG and H1Z1.
So
I did not play Fork Knife.
Battle Royale games are like Fortnite. I can't even say Fortnite now because I said Fortnite. But Battle Royale games are the games that are like Fortnite, where you've got 99 other players. It's usually 100 people all battling against each other, and one person wins. So I discovered one of the newest Battle Royale games. It's called Tetris 99. It is Battle Royale Tetris. And
what?
It's amazing. It's really, really, really fun. And I discovered this through an Ologies episode actually on gaming. They talked about Tetris. And side note on Tetris real quick, you can, if you're in a traumatic experience, whether it's in war or like a really gruesome car accident or like a major life event that's really, really traumatic, if you play Tetris within 24 hours, it can basically short circuit the flashback portion of your brain so that when you're having flashbacks, you have flashbacks to Tetris instead of flashbacks to the traumatic incident. So it helps with PTSD and reoccurring visions of traumatic events. So it's this like crazy, crazy, crazy study that
I want to see the science behind that. I'm sorry. I got to see the science behind that one.
It's heavily backed by science. Like they've done numerous studies on it. It's very heavily backed. And so it's one of those things where it's one of those simple things you can do that can help if you've ever gone through a traumatic experience. So she threw it out there as like a PSA in there. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna check this out. And Tetris 99 is it's on Switch and it's free for anyone that has Switch Online. So I started playing it, and I always thought Tetris like, it's boring. It's a puzzle game. I don't like puzzle games, whatever. But the competitive element to it makes you want to play faster and better and beat the other people.
Okay, how does this work? I'm missing. How do you have a battle royale in Tetris? Like, are you competing like scores? Like you're all playing your own thing, but you're just trying to see who can keep going the longest?
No. Yes and no. So every time you clear a row of blocks, that's sent to someone else as blocks at the bottom of their screen. So you're basically, every time you do good, it throws it on someone else, and you can choose people. Like you can choose other people.
Oh, can you choose the leader?
Yeah, you see all 99 screens like on the sides. And so you see all these other screens, and you can auto target to someone that's close to being knocked out, random, someone that's attacking you, or someone that's doing really well. So you can kind of like target these different areas.
And that changes the whole game. That's pretty interesting.
That's pretty cool. And I mean, also, I don't know if you will look this up, but I did just Google search Tetris, invented in 1984 by Alexei Pajitnov. Sorry, my Russian is not good. But Tetris has 170 million units sold. Second best-selling video game. Like, this is not a new game. So it's interesting they threw in a little twist on it to bring back a classic, an absolute classic of a game.
Yep, and it's a lot of fun. I never got into Tetris before, but as an adult and looking for something that I can play for a few minutes and get an enjoyable experience out of it, it's a lot of fun.
Have you won Tetris Royale?
I just got it yesterday, and the best I've gotten, I think, was 18 or 16.
Battle Royale games are pretty brutal on that, though. That's kind of, there is a little bit of a barrier on them, I feel like, because it's very common to not win. And so it's, I don't know, it's something where you have to kind of lean into, I'm going to put in the time to try and get good enough at this game that I can win sometime.
Yeah, so the other thing that I thought was super interesting about Battle Royales, and it's kind of a quick side note, the doctor who she interviewed on Ologies said that she doesn't like killing people in video games, but she likes playing Fortnite. You're like, well, what does she do? She basically plays hide and seek and builds forts the whole time. And she said she can normally get in a top 5 finish.
That's why I don't like Fork Knife, because you can play hide and seek and hide in a fort. So I guess different strokes for different folks.
Yep.
That's funny.
She should just start playing Minecraft instead of
Minecraft. That's not the same game.
Yeah, but it sounds like more like what she likes to do. It's just like killing people on games.
No, I mean, if
she likes building stuff.
if you want to be like purely holistic, go play like Stardew Valley or something, where you're just like, I'm gonna grow some.
I love Stardew Valley. I'm so deep into that one. My kids got me back into it. Oh, that game's so good.
I don't think I could possibly enjoy that game.
You are completely wrong. If you would give it like more than 20 minutes, you would be addicted. It's just so zen, dude. It's just such a relaxing game. It's the most relaxing game I've ever played. Anyway.
It sounds like a grind.
It's not really. It's not based on a grind.
So for those that don't know, when we're recording this, we've just gotten through or dodged a bullet, I could say, of a pretty significant hurricane that was originally slated to come hit us straight on. But I think that I attribute a lot of our missing this hurricane to one man and his amazing ideas. And I think that it's this Florida man that we're going to play right now.
Can't see how they haven't come up with some kind of way to combat these storms yet. They keep saying, 2 days ago, it's this, but it's going to hit all this warm weather and warm water. We have a Navy. Why don't the Navy come and drop ice in the warm water so it can't get going as fast as... There's got to be ways to combat this instead of just pointing at the thing and saying, well, it's now it's getting worse. Yeah, we know it's getting worse, but you tell us, it's the warm weather. It's the wind. Well, we have an Air Force. Air Force is around to get the wind the opposite way. Get the Navy to go in circles and fight it the other way.
All right, so let me start by saying that Florida gets a really bad rap because of the people that come down here and visit, because it is very obvious that this guy is not from Florida.
That is not a Florida accent. I agree with you.
I don't want to even offend anybody by saying where it seems like he's from, but I can 100% tell you it doesn't sound like a Florida accent.
Let's say Northeast.
There you go.
Let me say this. He truly is a Floridian, though. He's got the Fu Manchu. He's got the Hawaiian shirt. He's living in the kind of retirement home / trailer park that you see all over the place, like the 60+ communities you see in Florida.
Yes.
Stereotypical, that type of community. He's a Floridian through and through, for sure. He may be from somewhere else, but he's a Floridian now.
No, and don't get us wrong. Like, Florida's very accepting of all transplants because that is part of the identity. But also, don't lump us in with some random guy who says you could just throw some ice cubes in the ocean and make the hurricanes go away.
Yeah, so I contribute completely that Florida didn't get hit by this hurricane to our Navy and our Air Force.
Yeah, we have an Air Force. Get rid of the hurricanes.
Because, guys,
we have a
say
Navy
this, and we have an Air Force.
I will. You know what, guys? I'm going to take the other side. I will say this: he's not wrong. If we
Except that he is.
He's not, though. Listen, hear me out. If we could cool down the water and stop the rotation of the hurricane, it would kill the hurricane. He's right there. His methods of accomplishing such goals, however, are severely flawed.
Yeah, I mean, technically, if you could make the water colder, then and you can make a hurricane stop being a hurricane, then the hurricane's not a hurricane anymore.
Exactly. So he's brilliant. He's got it all figured out.
That's one way to look at it.
I'm pretty sure science has known that for a long time, but this guy thinks he's cracked the code.
They are aware. But yeah, that's ridiculous. But thanks to Portland Paul for sending that in because, now we know the way to stop a hurricane.
And this is why Florida Man is the hero that we've never asked for, but most likely it's probably the one we deserve. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's true.
At the end of the day, aren't we all Florida Man on the inside?
We are. We're definitely Florida Mans like all the way. Yeah, we're definitely we definitely are.
So we've talked about it before, but we have this amazing offer for you guys as listeners to be able to get a free book on us through Audible.
And you can't get this offer anywhere else. No other podcast, nowhere else has this offer. So you have to go through our affiliate link.
Audible exclusively gave us this link. I mean, that's why it's PDS. I mean, that's the facts.
The other day, Jeff Bezos called me and he's like, "Hey, man, I need you to start plugging Audible because nobody knows about it, but we need to get the word out."
Yeah. So, let me tell you a book that you should get for one. It's a good bang for your buck, which is $0 because of the link.
So it's a really good bang.
It's a great bang.
You gotta love a good bang.
You gotta love a good bang.
No one can turn down a good bang, especially if it's a free bang.
Yeah,
it's a free bang.
It's the best kind.
But the book that we want to recommend this week on TODS is The Name of the Wind by Pat Rothfuss. It is an amazing book, and it's an amazing series, and I wish that he'd write it a little bit quicker, but it's so good. Like, I can't even express how good it is. I got to go back and listen to it again myself because of how good it is. But if you want this book or any other book, there's literally like hundreds of thousands to choose from. Go to audibletrial.com/PDS and you can get a free book on us.
And we mentioned that's in the show notes. Click on your podcast catcher, click the link. You're already there. Sign up, get your free book. You're ready to go. Easy peasy. 1, 2, 3.
ABC.
For the last discovery of the week, it is the Discovery Band, and they are Fruition. They're from Portland, Oregon, and it's rock-like, but just kind of generally interesting. It's really fun, but also it's got some a little bit of heat to it. I don't know. It's really good, kind of alt rock. But I talked to them this week, and they have a brand new series of 7-inch vinyl 45s that they're making. So you can grab all this stuff on their website at fruitionband.com. Their Twitter and Instagram are fruitionpdx, and their tour starts today at Red Rocks. So that's not helpful because you guys won't hear this until next week. But their tour is starting. And so if you want to go see these guys live, they're going to be around. But from their most recent album, this song is called Let's Take It Too Far. This is Fruition. Thanks for listening, and we will talk to you next week.
Take care, guys.
There's always more to discover.
No, we don't say that here. Shut up.
Yes, we do. We discover other things. This is discover. There's always more things other than podcasts to discover.
There's always other stuff than podcasts to discover, too. That's a good
TODS.
catchphrase, right? TODS.
It rolls off the tongue.
Hashtag TODS.
Never wanted what you got. Still trying to get to where you were. Were you ever really there? Was there a doubt or were you sure? I'm always reaching for that branch, the one that's always out of reach. I'm always howling through the moonshine like a dog without a leash. Take me out into the country. I wanna burn with all the stars. I wanna be there when the sun comes round. Let's take it too far. Tonight's gonna be the night. Nothing you can do. Somebody's gonna fall in love. Somebody's love will break in two. Don't you worry about dying, 'cause there's no better way to go. Sing until we're out of honey. Pour the gravel down our throats. Take these chains from around me. Take this pain from my heart. I wanna melt into the midnight. Let's take it too far. There's gotta be a reason. No, I don't know what it is. I think it's somewhere in the third verse. I'm gonna dig for it. Oh, how the melody moved me, and how it came to an end. Man, I wish I could have been there. something. Take the makeup off our scars. Let's get swallowed by the beauty of it all tonight. Let's take it too far. Let's take it too far. Let's take it too far. Let's take it too far.
This was a podcast from the Podfix Network. You can check out more shows like it at podfixnetwork.com.